Living a life of gratitude. Cultivating a heart of thankfulness in all circumstances. What is gratitude? The entryway to gratitude is a heart of openness, being surprised in wonder, acceptance, and appreciation. The opposite of negativity and fearfulness that comes with our woundedness. According to Robert Emmons, one of the foremost gurus of gratitude, side note, how cool would it be to be known as the guru of gratitude? Gratitude has three key components. It is an affirmation of the goodness of the gift. We recognize the source of the goodness of the gift is outside ourselves. The receiver is more likely to feel grateful if the gift is thought to be gratuitous. Psychologists like Emmons have documented how gratitude is the antidote to negative feedback loops and negative mental chatter. Examples of breaking the cycle of negativity include, "It is such a privilege to train in this place. It is such an honor to be on this team. I am so grateful it was my ligaments and not bones or something worse." Philippians 4:4-6 reminds us we should rejoice in the Lord always, and instead of worrying, give it over to God in prayer through gratitude. Breaking the cycle with gratitude doesn't ignore our worries or issues. It asks us to lean into them. When we do this, gratitude celebrates the present, blocks toxic emotions, makes you more resilient, strengthens bonds with teammates, and strengthens your sense of self-worth. In other words, it can give you a sense of belonging. And in extreme cases, gratefulness can be the antidote to the yips. Gratitude is an entryway to the heart of God. Gratefulness can also help make you feel like you belong on a more cosmic scale, at home with God. Earlier I mentioned that gratitude begins with an open heart and being surprised by wonder. When we see the beauty of creation or find joy amidst grief, we recognize the gift of beauty and our creativeness. When we stop to notice the ordinary miracles, the freshly cut grass, our favorite Gatorade flavor in the cooler, a good day at practice, our mindset shifts. We become filled with wonder and awe, naturally giving thanks to God for the gifts of the ordinary. It's in noticing these ordinary miracles that we begin to feel more connected to creation and our Creator. Many Christians see gratitude as singular, as a response to one event, the cross at Calvary. And this is true. Our response to the gratuitous gift of restoring us to God can only ever be thanks. Jesus' death and resurrection are inherently good. They come from outside ourselves, and it is certainly lavish, but they are only a part of the gift of grace, as Bjor. David Steindorast, another gratitude guru, says, "The essential point in Jesus' life, long before he dies on the cross, is that he affirms the value of every human being. He affirms the value of every human being as a human being, and in that way saves them, by saving their self-respect, by making them stand on their own 2 feet, and pulling them out of that consensus reality that their society had formed, and that, sadly, hasn't changed very much in our society." David Steindorast, Gratefulness, the Heart of Prayer. Jesus gives us way more than just a ticket to heaven. He gives us meaning, purpose, belonging, and inherent value as human beings, beloved children of God. When we only think of the cross in terms of gratitude, we often miss the other side of gratitude, that you are valued, you are worthy. And this blows my mind. Jesus is actually grateful for you. In John 10:10, Jesus says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." The thief is negative feedback loops and cynicism. A life of gratitude is a life of wholeness. And when we experience this fullness that Jesus wants for us, we are experiencing the grace and also the inherent value that God gives us. 4 ways to practice gratitude. Begin with acceptance instead of resistance. That is, begin with a yes followed by and. Ask, what is this event, moment, etc., inviting me to? Move to positive scanning or finding the silver lining when things are not going as planned or hoped, after a loss, amidst an injury, etc. Note, this does not mean be positive all the time. That's called toxic positivity. As Steindorast says, we don't have to be grateful for grief, but we can be grateful from within our grief. 10 steps in cultivating a thankful heart. 1. Give thanks as a holy discipline independent of feelings. True gratitude involves the heart as well as the lips. But sometimes, when our hearts are cold, our words can be sparks that kindle our gratitude. That's why the Bible repeatedly commands us to thank Him. Psalms 136, F 5:19-20, Colonel 3:17. 2. Give thanks for the small and ordinary things. With blessings, as with relationships, familiarity often breeds contempt. We should keep in mind how the world would have seemed to that grateful leper Jesus healed. Ever after that miracle, he must have given thanks for all 20 fingers and toes, for the power to run and leap again, for the smiles of children who once would have hid in horror. 3. Look for the hidden blessings. Paul told the Colossians to be watchful and thankful. Colonel 4:2. Sometimes we must keep ourselves alert to the graces God gives subtly or indirectly. Sometimes we grumble that the gifts we have are different from the gifts we would have chosen for ourselves. For example, we hear people complain about their physical appearance or other natural endowments, wishing they were prettier or stronger or smarter. Sometimes we fail to realize that not every gift we seek would be to our benefit. 4. Thank God, especially in the midst of adversity. God doesn't ask us to be thankful for the sorrows that come our way, but He does want us to demonstrate trust in His care by thanking Him in spite of them. The Apostle Paul said, "Give thanks in all circumstances, not for all circumstances." 1 Thess 5:18. 5. Turn your attention from your problems to God's priorities in your life. We may have to take a step back to see the big picture if we want to be grateful for what God is accomplishing in us. Jesus gave the Father thanks for His last meal, just hours before the horrible death He knew was waiting. Matt 26:26. Jesus was grateful because He saw the bigger picture of God's plan, that the Father had put all things under His power, and that He had come from God and was returning to God. John 13:3. 6. Give your attention and care to those whose lives make your particular blessings stand out by comparison. Have you been grumbling that you can't afford a new couch for the living room, to serve in a soup kitchen for the homeless? Have you found it hard to thank God for your boss? Talk a few minutes with the folks in the unemployment line. Do you complain about minor aches and pains? Pray for someone with a terminal illness. Your gratitude to God is sure to grow. 7. Set aside time daily to express thanks to God. In ancient Israel, a daily habit of thanksgiving was so important to the life of the nation that the Levites were officially appointed to stand in the temple every morning and evening to thank God. 1 Chron 23:30. In a more private context and a later generation, we find Daniel kneeling to thank God 3 times a day in 6:10. 8. Keep a record of God's faithfulness to you. Count your blessings, as the old song says. Try listing them in a regular journal that you review periodically. One family I know keeps a thank you book, complete with pictures, dedicated exclusively to recording answers to prayer and other blessings from the Lord. 9. Show gratitude toward others as well as God. Make it a point to tell family and friends how grateful you are for their kindness. Stock up on thank you notes and use them generously, even for small favors. Thank the folks involved in your daily affairs: the bus driver, the office janitor, the grocery store clerk. The more you appreciate all these people, the more you'll appreciate the one who put them in your life. 10. Give generously to those in need. Giving can be a concrete expression of gratitude to God, and it leads others to thank Him as well. Paul told the Corinthians that such generosity is not only supplying the needs of God's people, but is also overflowing in many expressions of thanks to God. 2 Cor 9:12. Lord, in this Thanksgiving season, I have so much I truly thank you for. But there are also some situations I cannot understand, and I struggle to utter thank you over them. Help me to remember that you are a powerful God, you are in control, and that I can praise you and thank you for your comfort, presence, and work in even the rough times of my life. Thank you. Amen.